I grew up in Adair, Oklahoma, which is a small town northeast of Tulsa. When I was a freshman in high school, I bought my first show heifer, and it was an Angus heifer out of Missouri, and showed her through and did okay with her. But I remember after I bought that registered heifer, then I started getting the Angus Journal. And that was a kind of a turning point for me in terms of looking at what was there, noticing that livestock media that came into the house every month, and I would just absorb that. And so I was moving through FFA and got elected reporter, was able to take yearbook and newspaper classes in my high school, and all those things sort of culminated in this real interest in agricultural communications. Grew up in a family of OSU fans. My first t-shirt said OSU class of ? Like, there was no question if I was going to OSU, it was a matter of when. So when I got here, AgCom was good in a very different way. When I graduated in AgCom, there were 6 of us, but we took classes in ag and classes in journalism, and the AgCom courses did not exist. I finished bachelor's in '88 in May, and then started immediately on the master's, and did the master's and finished in summer of '89. And got a job with Grand River Dam Authority. But I was continuing a position that I started in my junior year. I was the official OSU band photographer. So I would go to the games, and I was up in the press box. I was talking to Dr. Holly, and he said, "What are you doing these days?" And I said, "What would it take for me to come back and get my teaching certificate?" And he said, "I don't know." He said, "But did you know the AgCom advisor job is open?" I still remember where I was standing in that building. And I said, "No, I didn't know that." He said, "You ought to think about applying." And as the rest, they say, is history. I started on Groundhog Day 1992. Middle of the semester. It was an interesting dynamic. At the time, I was only teaching 1 class in the journalism school. And when I got to build my own curriculum and put into place the things that I really thought students needed to know, I don't feel like I ever look back. My vision was just, let's be the best. And so that's what we went after, and I feel like that's where we are. The Cowboy Journal was a cooperative effort. We didn't know what we were doing. We did not know what we were doing, and we learned together. In those first few editors in particular, we were reliant on so many people to help us get there. And then it became this tradition. There's a piece of my heart that goes into every single one. I can tell you, I can pick up any one of those 52 different magazines and tell you stories, because it has just been, it's been part of my life for the last 26 years, and the kids that are involved in it. But at the end of the day, Cowboy Journal is a capstone class, and it's about what can we teach students. OSU AgCom is just that family for me. It goes back to maybe the fact that from the time I started, I wanted students to call me by my first name. I just feel that connection with students, to be like a family and to do these things together, and that's what makes AgCom special at OSU, is the way that we have our lives intertwined. The person I am today is a lot different than the person I was in high school, or the person I was in college, or the person I even was when I started this job 32 years ago. A lot of things have changed that. I think I'm still fiercely competitive, but I'm not fiercely competitive for myself. I'm fiercely competitive to help other people find that success. I think some of what changed me was having a child with special needs. I think I found that mothering instinct more with both my boys, and I lost my mom 21 years ago, and that changed me because it made me realize that everybody needs somebody that really is in their corner. So Mom was just always there. And I kind of feel like, whether it's intentional or just subliminal, I try to be that for other people, that person who's always there, because I think everybody needs that. Livestock Publications Council is filled with people who have that same mindset of caring that I do. And it's never all about them. It's always been about serving their readers, viewers, listeners. And LPC was at the forefront of mentoring college students and having one-on-one mentorships and making those connections with students. It was always bigger and broader than any of the other organizations we were connected with. And that's why I've always wanted to be involved. When I got that call and they said, hey, would you like to serve on the board? I had to sit down because I was just so honored to have that place at the table and to be that voice for academia. These are the people who, outside of my immediate colleagues on campus, they are some of the most important people in my world over the last 25, 30 years. And to think that they think I deserve it is just completely overwhelming. Because I know the people who've gotten this before and how deserving I know they are. I just don't see myself in that class of people. But the honor is huge. I just look forward to watching all those kids that we've helped through LPC and the roles that they're in now, and I can see faces, and I'm not going to name names because I don't want to forget anybody, but I see all those young people out there in LPC now doing the things that we did 20 and 30 years ago, and knowing that it carries on and there's such joy that it's still going to be there.